Hello, this is Winston again. I'm responding to Darryl Sloan's video entitled, what was it, Love and Self-Interest. He made a video response to my video, so I'm responding for the second time. First of all, Darryl, I'd like to thank you for your response and for taking the time to do it and expressing your views. Um, it was a really nice video, but I think you kind of misquoted me or misinterpreted me a little bit. Um, See, I wasn't saying that. Um, Wait, hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. Um, I wasn't saying that. I wasn't trying to tell you what to do with your life, okay? I wasn't saying that you should go abroad or anything like that, or travel and quit your job, okay? What I was trying to do was basically just trying to expand your mind a bit and tell you that there are more options than the one you described, okay? Because you initially said that, you made it sound like either you go to your job at the school or you stay home and play video games and live a selfish life. I was saying that there were more options than that, and that many people would have a third or fourth option than the ones you described. And so I was just trying to expand your mind a bit and trying to show you that there were other options. And not only that, but when you make these videos, it sounds like you're giving advice to people, okay? And that's what you do in a lot of your videos. You give advice. So, I was, just trying to say that the advice you were giving people sounded kind of narrow, a narrow dichotomy, because you were basically saying that either you go to work or you stay home and play video games or whatever and have fun. But I was saying that that there are many other choices than that people are doing all the time, even right now. Okay, um, so since you were, you were giving that video as advice to people, since that's what your videos are about. Your videos are meant to give people advice and share your insights. Okay, so I was doing the same thing. I was sharing my insights, and also, so I was trying to reach out to the people you were giving advice to and telling them that there's more options than just to work or play video games and stay home. So that's what I was trying to do. I wasn't trying to tell you what you should do. I was just offering some suggestions and possibilities, and not only to you, but to those you're giving advice to as well. Okay. Um, so I think you misinterpreted me a little bit on that, and um, I also wanted to say that I don't. I think you watched my videos very fast. You didn't really address any of my points or my arguments, and I can kind of tell that you're not a traveler type of person, and you've never like done a lot of backpacking and stuff like that, or long-term travel. Because if you did, people that travel know what I'm talking about. They can relate to it. They will tell you that the best memories of their life, are when they're traveling, not when they're working. And you can ask any seasoned backpacker about this, and they'll tell you that it's a very common thing for them to say. Okay, um, for example, you could go to like some popular backpacking websites, like couchsurfing.org, for instance. In case you don't know, couchsurfing.org is a site where travelers and backpackers use to stay in each other's houses while they travel to save money on hotel, okay? And that site is very popular. There's millions of people on there. And if you go on there, there's forums and message boards and group discussions where they talk about traveling, and you can ask them, and they'll tell you that the most memorable, best times of their lives was when they were traveling. Because traveling expands your mind, it enriches your soul. And it's almost like a spiritual experience. It's not just about having fun. I mean, that's part of it, of course, but it's also about expanding your mind and enriching your soul. So, and a lot of travelers and backpackers will tell you that. You can go on the backpacker forums like Couchsurfing, and they'll tell you that. Okay, so because they can relate to what I'm saying, and I get the sense that since you're not a traveler, you can't relate. And think about this. I mean, who's to say that if you became a backpacker or a traveler and you had all these amazing experiences that stuck in your memory forever, amazing, memorable experiences, who's to say that if you had these experiences and began to live what I'm talking about, who's to say that you won't agree with me and say, "Oh, Winston, you were right. I understand what you mean now. I see the light." Okay, I mean, you can't know something unless you've experienced it, okay? And I'm sure since you're an intellectual, you know that. You're a deep, authentic person like me. Um, so you got to consider that. Maybe if you experienced what I experienced, you would agree, okay? And likewise, I mean, I could say the same thing about myself, that if I had a fulfilling job like yours, I might agree with you, okay? Um, but even if I did, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to love to travel around the world like I do, okay? I mean, I can love my job and love travel too. I mean, some people do. So, um, and actually, I've had jobs that I've loved. I mean, not all jobs I've had were bad. There were many jobs I've had that I loved. So I know what it's like to love your job, and so I have had that experience. But it doesn't mean that I don't love to travel and meet people too. So yeah, I just wanted you to consider that, and you didn't address what I said about time moving slower when you travel, because when you have new experiences every second, every moment, you focus on those experiences and you're focused on the now. And so when you're focused on each moment, the time goes slower because you're conscientious of each new experience as if it were a new thing. You're processing new information constantly. But when you're on automatic pilot and you go through this routine life where you just go to work, come home, eat dinner, do your errands, and then go to sleep and start the pattern again. Okay, I mean, you're basically on automatic pilot and time goes faster. You don't have memorable experiences. But I'm talking about a typical job. I mean, maybe your job has more memorable experiences that make you happy. I mean, um, you said that at your job you have a lot of social connection with people that like you and need you, and that's great. But I don't get the sense that you really know what I'm about. I mean, I don't think you read my biography or my About Me page, or even my other videos, or even my other articles. Because if you knew anything about me and the type of business I run and the books I write and the articles I write, you would know that I'm all for social connection. It's a topic that I write about constantly. I'm not against social connection at all. I mean, you sort of implied in your video that I'm that I don't value social connection, and I don't know if you meant it to come across that way, um, but it came across sort of like you assumed that I didn't care about social connection that you had at work. But we're actually on the same page in that area because I'm all for social connection. In fact, recently on my forum, I posted about 10 or 15 articles from scientific journals, from universities, from news reports, from psychology magazines, etc., where it said that if you have social connection, okay, it's it's very important. It's like a basic human need because I mean you need social connection to be happy, to be fulfilled, and to have better health. Because people who are very lonely and don't have social connection, they actually live less. I mean, they actually have shorter lifespans and more health problems. So social connection is just as important as food and water. Um, I mean, experts say this too. I found a lot of articles and posted them in my forum about this. So one of the things I write about the most is social connection. You see, I'm a self-help guru, and in my movement, if you're not happy in America, for example, you don't have social connection, my movement says that the problem is not to change yourself, it's to change your location. So you go to another country where you have social connection. And I don't know if you know this because you probably haven't been to America, I think, because you've never mentioned that you have, but America is one of the most socially disconnected places in the world, okay? People are literally in a bubble. They don't like to connect with others. They don't like to make friends. Even if you have a job in America, most of the time, okay, in most work settings, the people don't even go to lunch together, okay? They go to lunch separately. Because in America, people want to be alone. They don't like other people, okay? And that's why the loneliness in America is at an all-time high. There's books and articles about this, not just from me, but from authority sources and universities. Like, for example, you go to Amazon, there's a book called Bowling Alone and The Lonely American, and those books all explain how in America many people have no friends today. I mean, not close friends. They might have a lot of acquaintances, but they don't have close friends that they can confide in. Whereas back in the 1980s, people had at least 2 or 3 close friends, okay? In the 1980s, people still had close friends. But a lot of people today in America don't have close friends, okay? They don't have anyone to talk to about their problems, so they have to go to a therapist or a psychologist or a counselor. So America's a very disconnected place. It's like once you get out of high school, there's no social scene. Everyone has their own family, their own house, their own bubble. People just live to work after they get out of high school. They're not looking to connect with people. They're not looking to make friends. They're not looking to meet people. So in America, if you didn't find a wife or a circle of friends in college or high school, by the time you get out, you're screwed because once you get out of school, life is all about working, not about connecting with people. People don't want to connect with people. People don't want to talk to strangers. They don't even talk to their neighbors, okay? So America's a very socially disconnected place. And so far, no one has a solution or cure for this except me and a few others maybe. And that is you go to another country where you do have social connection. So for example, when I went to Russia and Europe and China and the Philippines, okay, I experienced a lot of social connection. I was never lonely, almost never lonely, okay? And so in my life, that's been the solution, is to go to a country where people are interested in social connection, interested in making friends and meeting new people, and they're down to earth, you know. You see, America's a fake culture, so if you're very authentic and down to earth like me, you're not going to fit in. You're going to have a hard time connecting with people because, I mean, the culture, in case you don't know, America is the king when it comes to fakeness and BS. No other country has that much fakeness and BS. It's not even your country, Darryl. Your country of Ireland. I mean, and not even England either. Even people in England are more down to earth and modest than Americans are. You can ask any honest person there about that. And I don't mean ask a drunk bastard or something. Ask someone that's very honest and very intellectual. and who doesn't BS. Okay, so um, so anyways, yeah, I mean that's the solution. I mean to go abroad, and that's what I promote. I promote social connection. So I don't think you know what I'm about or what my movement is about. You haven't read my website or seen my other videos or even my biography page or about me page. So we're actually on the same page in a lot of ways. In fact, I have a similar spiritual journey as you because I used to be a Christian fundamentalist for some time, and then I became an agnostic, and then I became a pantheist after that, just like you. So um, my spiritual journey is very similar to yours, and plus my personality is somewhat similar to yours too, in that I'm not materialistic. I'm very genuine and honest. I'm a deep thinker. Um, I tell it like it is. I don't, I don't give this new age crap like, oh, if you believe in yourself, you can do anything. The sky's the limit. All you have to do is believe and be positive. Okay, we're alike in that our videos are not, full of fake positive messages, which is what's popular today, especially in America. You see, America is like a giant positivity cult. So positivity is everything in America. It's more important than truth, more important than honesty, more important than reality. Okay, in America, it's even okay to lie. Okay, as long as you're positive. That's how it is. Okay, people put positivity above all else, and that makes the culture and the people kind of fake. Okay, so I'm an exception to that, and so are a lot of my friends. We don't like BS, bullshit, or fakeness, or too much positivity. I mean, it's not that we're never positive. Sometimes I am positive if things really are positive, if the thing deserves to be praised or said positive things about, then I'll be positive. If I have a positive feeling or a positive experience, I'll be positive, but I'm not artificially positive. I'm not going to tell you that you can do anything you want and there's no limits in life as long as you're positive and you believe in yourself. The new age crap that I don't buy into, and neither do you. So we're both very realistic. We're both realists. And so if you study my personality, you actually see that we do have a lot in common, except maybe on this issue about work and travel. Maybe we differ, but in a lot of other ways, um, we are very similar. So, um, so I just wanted you to understand that, and I think your views on work are a little bit skewed because if you think about it, Darryl, okay, work is not exactly meant to be fulfilling or fun, okay? I mean, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about in general. Okay, work is not meant to be fulfilling or fun or pleasurable because if it was, you wouldn't have to be paid for it, okay? If work was so wonderful and meaningful and fun and enjoyable, you wouldn't have to be paid for it. You would work for free. But people in general don't work for free, they work for a paycheck. So work is meant to, I mean, it's not meant to be pleasurable and enjoyable. It's meant to be work, it's meant to be toil. You have to put in some effort. It's a duty, it's a task. Work is work. Okay, so you can speak for yourself and say how much you love your job, but in general, for everyone else out there, work is work. And I don't think most people are doing what they love for a living. They're probably doing what they can tolerate for a living. Um, that's my guess. Okay, but work in general is work, and it's not meant to be very fulfilling. Just because you're lucky enough to have a fulfilling job doesn't mean everyone else is. Okay, so you got to consider that. Okay, um, So, um, yeah, so I hope that clears up some of the misunderstandings you had in your last video about me. And um, and I hope you realize that I agree with you on a lot of things, that such as the fact that social connection is important. And that's why I go overseas to have social connection, because I don't have it in America. If you look at the pictures on my website, you'll see I'm very happy overseas. I make friends easily. I date beautiful girls. I have a much more rich and fulfilling life overseas because I have social connection. I have a social life. I have friends. I have girls to date. I have get-togethers to go to. I have people to celebrate holidays with. I have people to go out with, and um, and so that's important to me. I mean, I don't want to be unhappy and miserable and lonely. I mean, do you? Well, I guess you live alone, so maybe you're used to being a little lonely, but I don't like being lonely. Like you said, we are social animals. We are hardwired to need other people. We are hardwired to need social connection. So that's what I promote. I don't promote someone being totally selfish. I don't know why you have the impression that I promote hedonism or selfishness. Um, if someone had a passive income and they didn't need to work, I'm not saying that they should just live a life of hedonism. I mean, they should just follow their bliss. I mean, I think you've mentioned Joseph Campbell before, so I think you know him. Um, he's the world mythology expert and comparative religion expert, and he helped inspire Star Wars too. And he wrote a lot of books about mythology and has a lot of documentaries about it and speeches. And one of his key mottos is that you should always follow your bliss. Okay. And he says that once you follow your bliss, the universe will help you. I mean, the universe will make things happen to help you out, like arrange a series of coincidences or bring people into your life to help you on your journey so you can follow your bliss. You activate the universal forces to help you. He said this in a documentary called The Hero's Journey. Joseph Campbell said this. And so I agree with that. I don't know about you, but I agree with that. If you follow your bliss, things will start happening. Things will help you along. You will be much happier and more fulfilled, and your life will be more meaningful. So, that's what I advocate. I advocate people follow their bliss. I'm not advocating someone be hedonistic. I mean, of course, there's nothing wrong with having fun and having pleasure in life. I mean, it's better than being unhappy, right? Um, but people are different, Some people like having lots of pleasure, and some don't. And I get the sense that you have this wrong assumption that if everyone helps other people, then they'll feel fulfilled from the act of helping others, because helping others gives you fulfillment. But that's sort of a fallacy, Darryl, because um, people are different, and some people might derive some fulfillment and meaning from doing charity work, for example, but some people don't. Some people will do charity work or volunteer work, and they'll feel nothing. Okay, so people are different, and just because you feel fulfillment from charity work doesn't mean everyone is. I mean, some people just don't get off on it. Some people just don't have any emotional response to it. Okay, just people are just wired differently. Okay, some people get a high off of other things like extreme skiing or extreme sports or doing dangerous things or speeding on the road or something, or I don't know. People get their kicks in different ways. Okay, not everyone feels happy when they do charity work. Okay, I know some do, but some don't. I'm just saying it's a fallacy to assume that everyone's the same as you. And we all make that mistake sometimes. Sometimes I assume that people are like me too. And the truth is, not everyone is like me. Some people are different. Some people are wired differently. So that's a fallacy that we all make sometimes, assuming that others are the same as us. Um, yeah. So what else was I going to talk about? Yeah. So basically, I hope you understand where I'm coming from. And yes, I was going to talk about. Um, yeah, I was going to clear something up. Okay, I wasn't saying that if you have passive income that you should just live a life of hedonism. Okay, I mean, I was saying that. I mean, my view is that if you have your freedom, you should do what you love and follow your bliss, just like Joseph Campbell said. Okay, and for example, I mean, not everyone's bliss is to just have fun and travel the world. Okay, some people, um, what they would do is they would learn a new instrument, a new language. Some people might climb mountains and try to scale some peaks. Um, some people might go on a spiritual pilgrimage to India or Tibet, or to a spiritual pilgrimage to Mecca to worship Islam, or to Jerusalem to find out the birthplace of Jesus or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of different things people can do to follow their bliss. Okay, it's not just having pleasure or fun or drinking or having girls all the time. I mean, people find meaning in other things too. I mean, so I just want you to understand that I wasn't advocating that. Okay, and this is not just for you, but for all your listeners too, because I want them to know that there's um, other choices out there, and that it's not true that that you only have two choices. So, um, anyways, I'm gonna make some other videos to you because I have some things to say about your Christian videos and also your comments on conspiracies, things for you to consider and stuff and take into account. So yeah, I think I've said all I wanted to say in this video. But yeah, if you read more about me in my biography, you'll see that I'm also for social connection, and I also like to help people too, but not in the same way as you. I help people in my way. I'm actually a self-help guru, and one that's unique because my 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 self-help movement is different because it focuses on location. It focuses on changing your location as the solution to your problems. Whereas all the other self-help movements out there, including the New Age movement, they all advocate that to change your life, you got to change your thoughts and your attitude. And I agree that's important, but what's even more important is that you find a location where you fit in and thrive and connect with and have social connection with. So, so to me, the location aspect is the bigger deal, and that's what makes my self-help movement more unique because I'm focusing on the location primarily, while everyone else is focusing on your thoughts. So I actually run a movement that's unique, and my books and articles are too. Um, and this helps people because there's a lot of lonely, miserable people in America, and my movement helps them. It gives them hope. If you go to my website at happierabroad.com and look at the testimonials, you'll see what I mean. A lot of people have thanked me for helping them go overseas and finding a better life. And so, I've helped people in that way. In fact, um, I've even helped people go overseas who ended up getting married and found their wife. Okay, if you go to my testimonials page, you'll see that a guy who followed my advice, he went to Lithuania and found his wife there and got married. Okay, and also there's a lot of depressed people in America that might have committed suicide if they didn't see my website and found the solution they needed. I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, how many people have you helped? I mean, how many suicides have you prevented in your life? I mean, I don't know. Maybe you've prevented some too, but I think that's a good thing. That my movement helps people, so I help people too, just in a different way than you. Okay, so I'm not as selfish as you think. So I think you misunderstood me there a little bit. Okay. Um, so so yeah. So I hope you take all this into account and maybe do a little research at me. You see, I've read I've read your book, Reality Check, which was great, and I've read some of your other book, iUniverse, when you had it as a free download before. And I've read some of your articles online, and I've seen a lot of your videos too, of course. So obviously, we're at a disadvantage. I mean, we're at a imbalance because I know a lot more about you than you know about me. So I don't have false assumptions about you or misunderstandings because I already know a lot about you. I've seen many of your videos, and I know what you believe, what you're about, what you think, what your position is. But I mean, you don't know a lot about me, and that's why you misinterpreted a lot of things I said and twisted some of my points a little bit. I think you had a lot of wrong assumptions about me. So, I mean, obviously, you don't know me as well as I know you because you haven't studied my material or seen my videos, whereas um, I followed your videos for a long time, for years now. So we're sort of at a imbalance here, um, and I hope this clears up some of the misunderstandings between us, and I hope you consider this. And like I said in my other video, if I'm the next time I go to the Philippines or China, and you want to take a vacation overseas, you're welcome to come, and I'd love to meet you. And like I said in my other video, you don't have to be single. I mean, if you can't find someone in Ireland, there are many other countries you can go to where there are good quality single women that you can date and possibly marry. It's not just Philippines or Asia or China. There's other good places like no, I mean, Ukraine, for example. Then you would have women of your own race to date. Um, Poland is another good choice because there's a lot of single girls there and they have good Catholic values. I know you're not Catholic, but what I mean is they have good family values and traditional values because they were raised Catholic. That's what I'm talking about. Lithuania would be a good choice because there's a lot of very sweet, feminine, humble girls there. There's a lot of countries you could go to find love, to find a wife, to find. I mean, I know that's not your priority because you said that you don't mind being single anymore, but I'm just saying you should consider it, and that you don't have to be single. If you feel like you have no other choice, and um, so yeah, I'm just saying you don't have to give up on love. There's other possibilities there. Um, and as far as that house you sold that you inherited from your parents, um, Yeah, I think I guess what you were saying to me was that you sold that house because it was an emotional burden on you. It was causing some psychological pain, that property. Um, if so, I guess I could understand that. But I wasn't trying to tell you what to do with your life. I am not that pompous to tell someone what to do with their life. I was just offering um, my feedback and my opinion because I assume that when you make all these public videos about your life, that you are also inviting people to give their feedback and their opinion. So that's what I was doing. Um, so, but I guess I would wonder um, why, if you sold that house to because of it was a psychological burden, and you have the money from that house, from the sale of that house. I mean, why don't you take that money and invest it in another house or another property that you could rent out and just make some extra money on, so you can save up money and have a nest egg. I mean, it's smart to save up money and have a nest egg. So, I mean, it seems like it might be a good business decision to take the money you got from the sale of the house and buy another house and maybe rent it out and earn more money, right? Because if you just put that money in the bank, it's going to depreciate from inflation over time. But if you put it in a property, it makes money and often gains value too. Because housing prices are stable. I mean, property values are stable and housing prices often go up. And you can get the money from renting another house too. So, and think of it. I mean, if someday you agree with me and you start to want to travel the world to enrich your mind, or maybe go on a spiritual pilgrimage, not just to not just for fun, but to go on a spiritual pilgrimage or something like that. I mean, the rental income from that other house would be a good passive income. It would create a nest egg for you to live off of. So I don't know. It's just something to consider. Okay, I mean, don't take this as me trying to tell you what to do. It's just a suggestion. Okay. Okay. Well, this has gone pretty long now, so I hope you found this interesting and maybe you learned something from it and or at least see my perspective and 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 not be so closed to new information. Okay. Yeah, so if you've gotten this far, thanks for listening, and yeah, just let me know what you think. Okay. Take care. Bye bye now.